Hey, we're here, Abuelo and the Nieto number 44. We talk Miami sports. You can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere, Instagram. Abuelo and the Nieto. Of course, I am the Abuelo, no doubt about that. And over there is the Nieto with that Marlins hat. And we have a special guest in number 44, Mr. Kenneth Garay, a great friend back in the Radio Caracol days. We used to do the Dolphins, the Canes back then in Caracol, and Kenneth was, I would call, the sports director. We did a sports show basically daily, and I will hop out a little bit. And well, Kenneth started with us doing also football. I think American football, the first time he did it at Radio Caracol with the judge, with Joe Martinez, Mr. Garay. You remember? You remember that Coke? You remember dropping the Coke on the red box? Do you remember that?
Yes, actually, first of all, I thought I was the Nieto, but I'm not. I'm not.
No, you're not.
I look as young as Tyler. No. Listen, no, Rolly, first of all, thanks for having me. And I admire Rolly a lot. So, I've been seeing the different episodes and I knew that you guys were together. And it's great to know, Rolly, that we're in good hands. The future is in great hands. We got people like Tyler, who actually sounds like an American when he speaks, so he could actually conquer the other market, the one that pays money, the one that pays good money.
Yeah. Well, we haven't died of hunger, Kenneth. So let's,
Praise the
we have
Lord.
not died of hunger. We've been close, but we have not died of hunger.
Very close.
Let's follow up with the guy that that energy of Tyler. He's got a few questions for you. Don't make it too hard now, Tyler, on Kenneth. Please. You take it easy on him.
Listen, if it pushes me too hard, I'm going to say, what? I think I'm losing connection or something like that. I mean, I'll get out of it.
Yeah, the first one I have is just, very simple, especially with the Dolphins returning a lot of players that had to miss the season due to injury or, a bunch of different issues. Just what are your expectations for the team this year?
The thing is, when I talk about the Dolphins, and Rolly knows this, it's hard to divide the fan from everybody else, from the professional, from the commentator, from the play-by-play announcer. The thing is, what I'm going to say, it could sound cliche because maybe if you ask me this every year, I'm going to say the same thing. But this particular year, because of all that you said, because of players that have recovered from injuries and all that, I expect it to be the breakout year. I expect Tua not to get hurt, first of all. I do believe in Tua as a quarterback. I don't think he's a super elite quarterback, but I think he's good enough to take us to the promised land. And, he's surrounded well. Hopefully, he will stay healthy, and we will go to the playoffs and win one game. I'm not saying Super Bowl. I'm not saying no. Go to the playoff, win one game, keep growing, and hopefully the decisions that Greer makes will be the right ones. Hopefully, McDaniel will continue, keep his job and continue growing. I think we have a good thing going. The thing is, we're desperate, Raleigh. We need to win. We've been craving a win for a long time. And but listen, things happen. The team from my hometown, Bucaramanga, Rolly knows it, became champions for the first time ever. And I've been waiting. I already made peace with the Lord like 2 years ago. I said, Lord, I know this might not happen while I'm alive, and I understand. And boom, it happened. So I might see the Dolphins win the Super Bowl. That'd be like, there I could rest in peace.
You give me some hope with that, at least. No, that definitely. And I'll say, specifically two guys that fought through some injuries last year was Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I saw Tyreek Hill at a workout earlier this week. About to see him in person, and he was moving very well. Doesn't seem like he's fighting through anything right now. What do you think having both of those guys healthy specifically will do for Tua, kind of having that security blanket of two of the fastest receivers in the NFL?
I think if they're both healthy, especially Cheetah, and he even said it, though. Last year, he kind of took a break. Not a break per se, but he kind of slept on his laurels for quite some time. And that hurt us. Having Waddle and having Tyreek Hill, will be great because then again he's very unpredictable. If we get a decent running game again, which now is pretty much done by committee in the NFL, although Saquon Barkley got the position to be on a top level again. But if we have a decent running game, if the tight end that we just brought, Waller, works out, then we're unpredictable because we can just run it until there's a play action. We could do many things. I think it all comes down to Tua being healthy, because if Tua is healthy and doesn't do too much or try to dive with the helmet and stuff like that, if everything happens and works out and Tua is healthy, he will be able to find these guys left and right the whole year.
Yeah. And, looking at, I guess to me, the biggest concern of this team when I look at their roster through and through, especially with that Ramsey trade, is the defensive backfield, especially, issues with cornerbacks. I think, there are two expected starters heading into this year is Kader Kohu, and we have Smith as well from South Carolina, Cam Smith, the second-round pick from a couple years ago. Do you think this team will be able to defend the pass this year? Are you concerned about it?
Not concerned. I don't think they'll be the top pass defenders in the NFL. They won't be. But I do think that having long enough offensive series, offensive drives, the defense will rest enough so that we could defend decently. And we got Fitzpatrick in the middle, and we could actually have a decent defense. If we have a decent defense and a great offense, we have a chance to make it to the playoff. I think we'll be fine. We will not be the best defense in the league, and hopefully the defense will play according to its talent and give their best. Look at Fangio. We were destroying Fangio, and then boom, he goes over to the Philadelphia Eagles. The defense there is great, and he ends up winning a Super Bowl. I think in Miami is a big distraction of a city. Rolly, and I love it, but Rolly and I know how destructive of a city it can be. If we have enough players committed to working, we'll have a decent defense.
Definitely.
Kenneth, I'd like to change now to Spanish. I know you speak a little Spanish. Your English is better than your Spanish, but we'll try to speak Spanish for our many Hispanic listeners. To hear Kenneth in Spanish is always a pleasure. Kenneth, hablando en español ahora, vamos a hablar un poquito de la MLS. Comenzando con Inter Miami, el equipo de Messi, que creo que va a tener o ya tiene parte del porcentaje del equipo. Si no lo tiene, lo va a tener por seguro en el último contrato para el 2026. Y se está hablando de Rodrigo de Paul para llegar del Atlético de Madrid. Esa posibilidad. Primero, ¿lo ves factible? Porque se habla que si llega de Paul, a lo mejor se tiene que ir alguien, porque tú sabes que en la MLS no hay cama para tanta gente, con lo complicado que es la MLS para traer jugadores, y a lo mejor que sería Busquets. ¿Cómo tú crees que se podría resolver eso? ¿Ves a Messi y a De Paul jugando en un par de meses ahí con el Inter Miami?
Yo sí los veo. Qué alegría hablar con Rolly en español, porque ahora sí me siento que estoy con Rolly. Me había comido un English muffin para venir a hablar con ustedes, ya le bajé. No, Rolly, yo creo que sí. Yo creo que Rodrigo de Paul va a ser compañero de Messi. Él ya cumplió con una meta. Él ha sido el escudero de Messi. Él cuida a Messi en la cancha. Él es uno de esos jugadores de Paul que yo quiero en mi equipo siempre, porque las corre todas, porque las busca todas, porque molesta al contrario, porque es mañoso. Él es de los que se le mete en la cabeza al rival, de los que cuando el árbitro no está mirando le dice cositas en el oído, le jala la oreja, lo empuja. En fin, tiene esa maña que ha llevado a Argentina a hacer lo que es hoy en el fútbol. Además del talento, esa combinación talento y potrero, que es fundamental en un deporte como el fútbol. A Messi, y también lo veo con él. Ahora, me preocupa que entre la propuesta tan grande que hay, Rolly, es que si usted se pone a pensar, Rolly, Tyler, este fin de semana, por ejemplo, estamos grabando un viernes, este fin de semana tenemos finales de Wimbledon, tenemos final del Mundial de Clubes en Nueva York, que inclusive me costó un ojo de la cara, pero me voy a llevar a toda la familia a ver PSG contra el Chelsea.
Usted tiene dinero, usted no tiene problema, usted tiene dinero.
Acuérdase que yo estuve en los premios esos que usted ha dado en Miami varias veces, y ahí pues
por la puntica
La Copa Dorada, sí, señor.
Es que tenemos historia, Kenneth. Tenemos historia como un argentino.
No, tenemos historia y nos queremos principalmente porque nos conocemos la historia. Por eso es que yo no hablo con el tal Martel.
Oye, pero que saca
sí,
a
perdón,
Martel aquí
perdón.
ahora, lo recordaste.
Perdón, no. Es desagradable de mi parte. Entonces, ¿qué pasa?
Le dicen el vikingo a él.
Y yo le digo Sabañón. Sabañón es una cosa que da en el pie.
Es una mala palabra, ¿no?
Es una cosa que da en el pie que es terrible y uno le da una picazón y se quiere morir. Así es él, no se lo aguanta a nadie. Entonces, por ejemplo, fin de semana, Wimbledon, béisbol de grandes ligas que está muy bueno, se viene el break del Juego de las Estrellas. Tenemos también, como decíamos, la final del Campeonato Mundial de Clubes. En fin, el deporte en general nos da una propuesta tan grande todos los fines de semana que veo a la MLS desde que inició su contrato con Apple, nada contra Apple TV, nada, o sea, es un medio de comunicación y muy seguramente usted, Tyler, yo en algún momento podemos trabajar allá, pero creo que se ha perdido un poco, se ha perdido un poco alejándose de los principales medios y en medio de todo lo que se está dando, pues como que pasa desapercibida, ¿verdad? Que Messi esta semana tuvo un partidazo contra New England y como que a nivel nacional no. O sea, los primeros días fue por curiosidad, después por nostalgia y ahora hay que buscar la manera de mantener esa expectativa y es complicado.
Pero ahora voy un poquito más allá. Pero y estamos de acuerdo con lo que estás diciendo, pero la solución, ¿usted está tomando ahí tequila o agua?
Cafecito pero envenenado.
Ok, está bien.
Nunca le voy a decir es con qué lo envenena.
No diga cuál es el veneno que usas. Ahora, es terrible, Kenneth. Kenneth, voy un poquito más allá con lo de la MLS y me pregunto, lo que pasa con la MLS también es un poco que tienen que solucionarlo ellos. O sea, porque si traen a Messi, traen a Busquets, ok, vamos a estar claros. Son jugadores que atraen público y demás, pero que están en la ida. O sea, eventualmente tú tienes que traer buenos jugadores de nivel, gastarte el billete, subir el nivel del juego, pero en serio de verdad. Y entonces, a lo mejor el interés del público aumenta aún más y no estás dependiendo de un jugador que es una gran figura que está en la ida para que venga aquí y para que te venda boletos. Eventualmente hay que llegar a eso. Si no se llega a eso, yo la veo difícil.
Ojo, yo primero que todo, la liga ha crecido muchísimo y creo que ha llegado a un techo, Rolly. Y es que hay una cuestión, y entiendo lo que usted dice.
Pero no está, el techo no está en entonces que tienes que ir más allá con el billete.
Yo quizás sí, pero yo creo que así se vaya más allá con el billete. No hay más para dónde. O sea, si a alguien se le ocurrió, porque es que a veces la emoción de algunos colegas y amigos les da para pensar cosas que no van a suceder. Y si suceden, pues yo vendré aquí y diré me equivoqué, como me he equivocado tantas veces en mi vida. Esto no va a pasar de ser un nicho muy grande como el del hockey sobre hielo. O sea, el que pensó que algún día tendremos un Monday Night Soccer tan popular como el Monday Night Football, yo sí lo invito a que se vaya bajando del bus y a que se vaya tranquilizando. Esto ha crecido y seguirá creciendo. ¿Y qué pasó? Que además de que la MLS ya tiene su nicho establecido y llena estadios, hombre, va a ser muy complicado que de ahí en adelante crezca y tiene un gran enemigo en sí mismo, porque el fútbol europeo tiene una gran cantidad de adeptos en los Estados Unidos. Aquí la gente ve la Liga Premier Inglesa y es local, ve la Liga de España y es local, ve la Bundesliga y le gusta. O sea, además de tener que pelear contra los demás deportes, que yo creo que esa pelea ya la ganó porque obtuvo su lugar en la fila, le toca pelear con el fútbol. Y si yo puedo hacer un barbecue en mi casa, Rolly, con Tyler, con Rolly Martín, para ver Manchester City y Manchester United a las 10 de la mañana un sábado, ¿para qué carajo voy a gastarme otros $400 en la tarde para ver Miami New England si a Messi lo vi en mi mejor momento? En su mejor momento. Es que es complicado, es muy complicado.
Ok, está muy interesante. Óigame, la conversación con Kenneth podría durar 3 horas. fácilmente. Esto es como un calentamiento, esto es un appetizer, nada más. Así que lamentablemente, Kenneth, tenemos que seguir con esto, pero ha sido tan bueno que más adelante yo creo que lo tenemos que repetir siempre que tú estés dispuesto a hablar con un viejo abuelo y con un jovencito nieto.
First of all, now I'm going to switch to English.
Yeah.
First of all, it's an honor to be invited anytime. It'd be great to be here for many episodes. We have a lot to talk about. Tyler, congratulations. I saw you as a news
Thank you.
anchor the other day,
Thank
and you do great. I've been seeing you guys. I check you guys out. I just from the background. You know me, Rolly. And so I'll be here. Un abrazo, se les quiere, se les respeta y aprovecho la oportunidad para agradecer a un gran amigo, a Rolly, always there to help. You know what? I have a Colombian friend who made a career, and he's in New York now for the final of the Soccer World Cup, of the Club World Cup, Danny Marulanda. And every time they ask him about his career, he has to mention Rolly Martin. Because when he got to Miami, and he sounded crazy, because there was a Colombian coming from Medellin trying to go to a Dolphins practice, the only one that picked up the phone and said, listen, I'm going to get you a credential for Sunday, and I'm going to bring you to practice was Rolly Martin. And he always says it. We at Caracol Miami thought he was nuts. We don't get many people coming from Colombia that know about football. Well, he had enamored. He had been enamored with the game because he grew up watching it in the parabolic satellite with
I gotta get me the contact with Danny so I can talk to him and maybe have him on the show. And definitely I'll text you regarding that. Thank you, Kenneth. Always, you're the best. And now to finish, because maybe somebody tells him that we're talking bad about him, which is true. But, we love El Vikingo, even though it's not his fault.
We love him a little bit.
To me, we love him, okay?
To me, he's always going to be a disgrace to the Cuban exile.
But we still love the guy. We
love the guy. Besides, he owes me money, so I got to love him.
Yeah. Hasta la próxima.
Ciao, muchachos.
First of all, just want to thank Kenneth for coming on with us. That was, great segment. Got a couple great stories out of him too that I had never heard as well. So, moving on to something that we're going to be doing for the next coming weeks. Every day, Monday through Thursday, we will be releasing a Miami sports report, about 1.5 to 2 minutes. Rolly will be doing some. I'll be doing some. This will be on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Same places we put all our social media on. And, just another way to keep the fans engaged and things like that. So we really appreciate the support so far. Forgot to mention Facebook. Facebook definitely will be, receiving that as well. Moving on to some Dolphins, just, no news yet. We were kind of trying to see about that cornerback position, what's going on there. We know rookies are reporting next week. A couple concerns about this team, but I want to focus on the positives. Are there any rookies that, you're expecting a lot of this year, maybe one or two particular guys that you expect to maybe make an immediate impact?
Well, of course, the number one pick, the guy from Michigan, defensive tackle. He's got long arms, very talented. He can rush a passer, very strong against the run. So he's going to help definitely at that defensive tackle position. But then, Sabanea, the guy from Arizona, they like him a lot. They like him a lot. Extremely quick, Tyler, and he goes great with the Miami offense, having quick guys that can get on the outside to block for, a very talented, running back that Miami has, and all the talented running backs that they have added also, maybe trying to run inside a lot better with, heavier guys. So that talent that he's got, a lot of people are excited about him. And that might be, even though he's a second round pick, that might be the number one guy, And Marshall Jr., if he can help, and about him quite a bit, you've seen him with the Gators, Tyler. They need all the help they can get with the corners. So now, rookies start next week, and they're going to be focusing on those cornerbacks because they're going to have to step up. Somebody's going to have to step up. And of course, I expect a signing as far as veterans is concerned from that corner position. But also the young guys need to step up. And that's Storndock, that he played quite a bit last season. Marshall Jr., Cam Smith. the former second round pick, they've been looking for him to make that push now for a couple of years. This is his time. So they have some options with the young corners, and I believe that they're going to be signing one or two corners and anytime now. Hilton is a possibility. He might play the slack, and then you might have to move someone to the outside because Hilton is more of a slack corner. But then, of course, you had Samuel Jr. as a possibility, Douglas, even Gilmore at 34 years old. He did a very good job last season. So those signings will be coming up, and there is always young guys that step up, and the team has been very successful through the years with free agents, rookie free agents that were not drafted. They always come up with one or two players that can help the team, and I look forward to something like that again this season.
Yeah, well, I think mentioning those late round picks, those undrafted guys, Jason Marshall, as you mentioned earlier, somebody who sticks out. Really only got to that point where he was such kind of fell through the cracks, I would say, was because he was hurt last year. He didn't play his entire final college football season. Probably would have benefited him to come back for another year, just in terms of his draft stock. But I look at him as somebody who, if he is fully recovered, can step in and play right away. And like you said, unless they make an addition, he probably will have to. But moving on to the Miami Heat, speaking of acquisitions, offseason acquisitions, Norman Powell, probably the first big name acquisition they've made. Now coming off a career high year, 21.6 points per game last year. Do you think this is kind of what concerns me is where are you going to put him? Because Hero is this team's shooting guard. You have Wiggins at the three. This isn't somebody and he played his best career year was last year while playing the two at shooting guard. I wouldn't see Tyler Hero playing point guard for this team. I wouldn't want to. I don't view him as that distributor type of player. He's a scorer, a shooter. So what do you think is going to happen? Are they going to put someone on the bench, maybe make a trade to try to get one of them out of there?
Well, remember, Hero did play as the point guard most of last season, so that happened already. So
And they
he
didn't make
can
the
play
playoffs.
some. Yeah, but he does a pretty good job taking into consideration that he's really a shooting guard. So he did a decent job with that. You worry about Hero a lot more defensively. That's what you worry more about Hero than anything else. And he's got to step up and maybe more defensively. The same thing with Powell. Powell offensively. As a shooting guard, or he can play a little bit of small forward also. So that's you can go with the point guard, the short guy, the 6 footer, and then you can have a Hero as a two, and have Paul as a three, or you can have Hero as a one and Paul as a two, and then your three. Uh, it could be the guy from the Golden State, and that number four, of course, is Adebayo, and number four and number five is Ware. So that might be your lineup. But those two guys, a lot of the experts, what they're saying is that they're worried about defensively, having in the lineup Hero and Powell at the same time. Of course, offensively, this was the biggest need for this team. Powell helps a lot. And of course, remember the 42% on 3 pointers last season, losing Robinson and then getting him back. So that helps. But defensively, is the question mark on the pick and roll. How's that going to work with Hero and him in the lineup, especially at end of games where, they have to deliver. So those are some of the question marks. I believe this thing has improved a little bit, having Powell in the lineup and having him, for next season. I still think that the team might make a move. They want to get rid of some of that money that's still there, with Porter in particular, Porter Jr. So if they can make a move, there might be another move that they can make now in the next few weeks. So let's see what happens regarding that. But this is a team that right now looks like anywhere between number 5 and number 8 in the East, even after some of the injuries that we know about, with Boston, with Indiana, with Milwaukee. I still see them as between 5 and 8. So not much better than they were last season. But now with the situation with Powell, also remember he's on the last year of his contract. So it's also we go back to we have said in the past. It gives you options in 26, 27 that there is a lot of money there that can be moved. And remember the situation with the guy in Milwaukee. What is he going to do? Is he going to stay there? Is he going somewhere? And Miami wants to be in a position to be one of the players at that time, and maybe the next will be another one of the things that he will consider. But that's something that you want to be in a position to compete for a guy like that.
No, definitely, I agree with that. And just in case the people out here don't know, who is the guy from Milwaukee?
I forgot his name at the time that I was talking about him, so I did not mention it. And that's what you're here for.
Giannis
And
Antetokounmpo.
it's Antetokounmpo.
I was like, either he forgot or he maybe doesn't know how to pronounce it. One of the two. But moving
Yeah,
on to our
well,
next.
a little bit of both, yes.
Okay, nice little mix there. That's okay. It's like you said. That's what I'm here
But
for.
but people already know that this part of our podcast that sometimes the guy from here and the guy from there, they already know, Tyler. Yeah, they
Well,
already know.
especially when we get towards the end, towards that trivia part. But we're not there just yet. But another special segment that we have is
Oh,
our.
before I get into that, Tyler, we have heard some rumors regarding Edward Cabrera of the Marlins. We don't want to skip that. I know it's not part of the rundown, but we want to keep Edward Cabrera, 27-year-old, pitching very well the last 5 or 6 outings. Tremendous stuff. So yeah, we could consider Alcantara. We understand it, but ownership, please. Edward Cabrera, we want to try to keep him with the Marlins. So hopefully that is the case. Okay, you were saying?
I got our fantasy football sleepers. This is now part 4, I believe. Got another rookie. We went with a couple of veterans the past 2 times. Started off with the rookie, though. Going back to that, Matthew Golden from the Green Bay Packers now just came out of the University of Texas. Was only there 1 year, transferred over from Houston, but had the best year of his career. Was Texas's leading receiver, on a team that went to the college football playoff, went to the SEC championship, 9 touchdowns. And the most impressive thing to me is, well, they kind of go hand in hand here. 4.29 40-yard dash, 17.9 yards per catch. And what Jordan Love has been missing is that deep threat. He has a couple good route runners on his team, a couple big reliable targets, but not really anybody that can successfully take the top off of the defense. Somebody that they have to either, like you said, will either take the top off the defense or force them to drop into that cover 3, cover 4 coverage. And then you can start running the ball, throwing it to people underneath. But, for now, coming into the NFL, I don't think teams are plotting for him yet. They'll have to adjust to his speed. And at 4.29, he's going to be one of the fastest guys in the league already. So definitely somebody you can probably get in the later rounds due to the fact that he's a rookie. A little bit on the smaller side, 5'11", 180, but not really at all. Just he's a very fast guy, but like I said, not a X receiver in that sense, but somebody who can make some big plays. And I would definitely take a chance on him if you had the opportunity.
All right. So you're ready for me, Miami Sports Trivia? You want
You
me
got your
to start?
Hispanic athlete.
Oh, that's right. We're doing the Miami Hispanic athlete. I forgot about him, and definitely, we're recognizing before we get into the Miami Hispanic athlete. We'd like to remember people starting next week, Monday through Thursday, Sports Report. It will be like the Miami Sports Pill, La Pastillita Deportiva Miamense, something like that. A minute and a half of sports stories, something happening that day in Miami sports. And that will be Monday through Thursday. Then Friday will be going with our podcast. So we have everything, Monday through Friday. We'll have some video clip also Saturday or Sunday. Always something going on with Abuelo and the Nieto. And you can follow us. Remember, subscribe to us also in YouTube and follow us in Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Miami Hispanic athlete. And we are recognizing a basketball player, Tyler, R.J. Lewis Jr.,
Yeah.
6'7" guard, forward. formerly from Columbus High, by the way. Played at St. John's last season, and he had a tremendous career in college basketball. Averaged last season 18.7 rebounds, 1.4 steals per game. His roots, Dominican and Ecuadorian. Okay, those are his roots. And Luis Jr. Was signed on a two-way contract recently by the Utah Jazz. Big East Player of the Year last season. Great 24-25 season in basketball, in college basketball, from Sion Prep in Maryland and also Columbus High. And I give you a stat, very important stat: college athletes of Hispanic descent over 34,500. That's 2000, ending 2023, and that's a 70% increase from the year 2013. And Tyler Carmona is one of those. All right, so I give that's an interesting stat to be finishing up with the Hispanic athlete of the week. In this case, R.J. Lewis Jr.
Awesome. Definitely. So, moving on to Miami sports trivia. You got it last week. Let's see if we can get you on a nice little winning streak. This one is easy. It's kind of your back in your glory days will be what we're referencing.
Well, you never know. You never know about me, Tyler. You know, I'm extremely bad at this segment, so you never know.
I figure the further back we turn the clock, the more likely you are to get these answers right. So we got a little throwback here. Not too far back though.
Hey, listen, I don't cheat. So that's important. You don't cheat either.
No.
So I could have a list here to help me. I could go into Google. No, nothing. So that's also why I'm so bad.
Yeah. Okay. That's a decent excuse, I'll say.
Yeah.
This one, like I said, kind of a softball. Who are the two Heisman Trophy winners in Miami Hurricanes history?
Oh, I got that one, Tyler. Oh, I got that one. I gotta be happy. Mr. Vini Testaverde and Mr. Torreira.
Okay.
You see?
There you go.
Once every 7 or 8, I'm hitting like what, 0.99 or something like that. It's at least once in a while. Yours is gonna be easy also. Relatively, we stay with the Hurricanes. That's why I had this shirt on this time around. So this is the question: who is the UN football coach with more national titles and best winning percentage? The UN football coach with the best winning percentage and the most national titles. They won 5 titles in football up to now. Cristobal, of course, is hoping for more. So who is the guy?
Jimmy Johnson.
No. The guy that came after
Schellenberger.
him. The guy that came after him.
Oh, Erickson.
Mr. Dennis Erickson. Yes. Dennis Erickson. The only one of those guys that won 2 titles, Tyler. Howard Schnellenberger won 1. I did that broadcast of that famous game versus Nebraska at the Orange Bowl. That was one of the first broadcasts that I did in Spanish in my career, and I did that national title. And then, of course, came Jimmy Johnson, 2 from Erickson, and 1, the last one, 2001, from Larry Coker. His winning percentage, .875. Excellent. 63 wins and 9 losses only for Dennis Erickson as a UN coach. So this is it, Tyler. It's been a great number 44, Abuelo and the Nieto. So follow us everywhere. Subscribe to us in YouTube. We're everywhere. Abuelo and the Nieto. Arrivederci. Hasta luego.